It was a great honor for me personally when Sumitra asked me to host this and see it. There are so many stalwarts in this group that I'm almost overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed, but I won't admit it. It's been an honor also because, you know, poetry is something that bears your soul. Whatever you may do, it bears your soul. And I found that Sumitra's soul is so lovely and pure, and it'll be a great pleasure for me to host this, and it's a great pleasure for me to do it. So I'm told that there's an invocation dance by Ashrita Keshav with a voiceover by Keshav for the poem Reunion, which is in the book that we are launching today. The poem is called Reunion, and it's on page, I believe it's on page 132. So Ashrita, I just want to introduce Ashrita first. She has a master's degree in counseling psychology. She has several awards to her credit. And recently in September 2019, she became the only Kuchipudi artist in the world to be featured in the New York Times video series, Speaking Dance. It's a weekly series exploring the world of dance. So that's quite an achievement. Congratulations. Keshav, I presume is her mother, is a graduate in English literature with a diploma in journalism. She was once a performing stage artist of Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. She is the past president of Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown. So let's enjoy Ashrita's dance of the poem Reunion.
Reunion. The earth and the sun have a beautiful relationship, a strong, long-distance one, and everlasting too. The earth, our mother, and the sun, our father. The trees, animals, humans, and all the creatures, our siblings. We have our unique journeys, long or short, but our lives, a lifetime holiday on the sun-kissed planet. The animals embrace it and experience it morning, noon, and night. But we, in the name of growth, got divorced from it and occasionally seek it in the name of a holiday. When we slow down and quietly meditate, through our body, we feel the mother's vibrations, and through the mind, we reach out to the skies. We unite our mother and father thus through deliberation. We become a family that we always have been, but rarely connect. And shouldn't we often bring about such a reunion, the celebrations? As our mother is ever busy nurturing lives and heralding seasons, spinning like a top, night and day, with the father far away, yet keeping an eye and showing the way with his guiding light upon us, like a guardian angel, all the way. On the mother's lap play her varied children, poor, rich, big and small, kept on a tight and protective leash by her strong gravitational pull. We may fly high in our lives, even reach the faraway moon, only to find out we don't find our feet there, but mindlessly drift along until we are home and grounded, back to our beloved mother, where we belong. Yes, we go places in our ambitious lives, living and working from skyscrapers, but down below must we come, for that's the inevitable truth. When it is time to merge with Mother in the end, to rest in peace. Time to merge with Mother in the end, to rest in peace.
That was wonderful. I was enthralled not only by the poem, by the reading as well, and by the dance as well. When we slow down and quietly meditate through our body, we feel the mother's vibration. So apt, especially for the times now and the times we're going through. I would now like to introduce. Yes.
Before we go on, I would like to introduce Jairam for those who haven't met Jairam before. I am Sumitra Datta Shom. It is my honor as publisher at Adisakrit to welcome all our August audience here on Zoom and on YouTube too, to the launch of our poetry book, Romance with Breath, the story of aspiring Indians through simple poems, authored by Sumitra Kumar and with illustrations by the young Ditika Laya Kashyap. And it is my pleasure to introduce our MC of the evening, who's already started his job, Jairam Seshadri, whom I have known for 4 years now. Jairam used to work as an accountant and has since downsized to take care of his 3 dogs and his writing. He formed the India Poetry Circle, and with a few members of IPC, he is learning the art of acting and staging Shakespeare's plays. Over to you, Jairam.
Thank you, Sumita. You do me great honor. Okay, I would like to now introduce the great Keshav. He's an active Rotarian. He is the founder, CEO of Mantra, a word which is very dear to me. Mantra stands for Management Training Research Associates, a company that he heads. He's a former journalist. He's also been a television anchor on many shows, including the Quiz Olympiad on Amrita channel in 2005. He has been inspired from childhood by Swami Chinmayananda. That's someone I also have something common with there. And he has worked with corporations like Hewlett Packard, Bharat Petroleum, TAF, that's Traffic and Farming Equipment, I believe, TRAF, ICICI Bank, as well as the government of Bihar and Odisha. Many educational institutions like the RBI Staff Training College and Great Lakes Institute of Management, to name a few. It's my honor to introduce him. I hope we can connect later as well. And I would like him to now introduce the poet and star of the day, Sumitra Kumar. Please, Mr. Keshav, please introduce Sumitra Kumar to all of us.
Thank you, Jairam, for that wonderful introduction. You made me feel like $1 billion. Though one of the best, one thing that is not mentioned in that series, because I wrote it myself, is that I like fiction a lot. And one of the best pieces of fiction I wrote was my own series, my profile. Having said that, I want to thank you all for inviting me, especially Sumitra, for giving me the honor of introducing her. And of course, before I do the honors in the particular way that she wanted it done, I'm going to also inform you that my cousin Ashrita, who also looked at the book before it was printed and also, contributed to the blurb in the book, is on a flight right now. Otherwise, he wanted to join. So he called me to say that he's taken a flight from Delhi to Hyderabad this evening and missing this. And Smita has not been well. His sister, who's also part of this project, she's also been a great support for Sumitra's work. She herself is not well and in hospital in London, and she's not able to join. So before we go on, I'd like to request you to play two short videos that we have. One for the great young artist who's worked on this book, Laya. I would like first a video on her and then a short piece on Sumitra.
Hi, my name is Laya, and I'm really excited that I got to draw for this book. It was a really interesting experience, and I've never had to match my drawings to pieces of writing. So I'm really excited that I got this sort of skill. So now I can use it in the future in case I illustrate for another book. And I also got to expand my skills.
And then we have another video on Sumitra itself, which I'd like to share with all of you. Laya, as you know, is only a 11th grader. And look at the work she's done. Stunning work on this book. Thank you. So I really don't have to say much except to tell you that more details about Sumitra are in the book. So that would be a very strong recommendation to buy the book, if not for the poetry itself, if you're not already a fan of poetry. I am after reading the book because I found Sumitra to be extremely sensitive. When I was president of my Rotary in 1994-95, the Rotary theme was Be a Friend. Connecting the dots, the word Sumitra means be a friend, the best among friends. So I can see why she was named that way and why she lives up to that name. And also, she believes in what she does and she does what she believes in. So she's a very strong advocate of saving water, taking care of the planet, managing plastic better. And she's been a very quiet, kind of sensitive advocate for all these issues and ever ready to look for little ways of spreading the message. And I'm sure that is why she's been so good at going ahead and publishing her book, as Sashi has mentioned in the book. It's extremely brave for a person her age, right, to try and get published and, of course, start a career in writing after running a very successful business, after doing stints in the fashion industry, after having worked for the, now, of course, we are proud of the name Air India, the flagship airline of the country. She's been there, done that. She's brought up her children very quietly, but very nicely. And of course, she's been a great partner for my friend Kumar. Apart from that, she's been a very valuable member of the Wheel and the Rotary families. So I am really, really proud that she gives me credit for having made her a better writer, or at least a more dedicated writer, which of course I find funny because I wish I could learn from her how to be a much better writer than I think I am. So, Sumitra, it's been wonderful knowing you, and I wish you carry on exploring your hidden potential as we go along. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the poet, the person of the evening, Sumitra Kumar.
Those are all quite an amazing achievements, Sumitra. You've been a Chupa Rustam. We've known you, IPC has known you 1 year now, and you've kept quiet, and now we know your true colors. So you need to share more of your talent and wisdom with us so that we also grow with you. Is this a good time to introduce the chief guests? I think it is.
Yes.
Let me start with in the order that I was given. Sumathi Srinivas is best known.
Yeah.
Sumathi Srinivas is best known as a social entrepreneur and an inspirational speaker. She is the CEO and founder of the Twilight Group, a media house with multiple divisions. She is the managing trustee of an NGO called Soulmates Foundation. She's the founder of Twilight Creations event management company. She's the producer of Mrs. Homemaker, a reality show for women, founder of a business networking forum called EWC, Elite Women's Club, and the publisher, editor-in-chief of We Magazine and Club Elite Magazine. She's won several awards that include Best Women Entrepreneur Award from Tamil Nadu government and the Women's Achiever 2014 by Rotary International District 3230. So we're honored to have you with us, Sumathi Srinivas. The second chief guest is Urna Bose, who I've known now for 1 year. She's part of IPC, so welcome, Urna. She's an advertising professional, writer, poet, and editor. Her poetry has gone viral globally. She won the Enchanting Editor Award 2019 from the Telangana Poetry Forum and the Women Empowered Scintillating Creative Impactful Feminine Power Inspiration Award 2020. I think I should get an award for reading that out fully. And the prestigious Nissim International Poetry Prize 2021. As the deputy editor for Different Truths, she also devotes time to the poet-to-poet column. Uma's advertising campaigns have won both Indian and global creativity awards, and some are even industry case studies. Urna believes that soulful poetry and gooey chocolate cake can fix everything. I agree. The third chief guest, Kamala Selvam, is a very popular district chairman of Inner Wheel District 323. Her leadership skills and astute knowledge of Inner Wheel make her a name to reckon with all over the country. An MBA with a gold medal in finance from LIBA, that's Loyola Institute of Business. Kamala was well equipped to turn into a woman and entrepreneur. I don't know why there's a woman entrepreneur, it's just an entrepreneur. Running a much sought-after yoga and event studio called Pink Lotus in the heart of the town. She's a media celebrity on the small screen and in print, whose passion is women empowerment, and gender equality. Kamala has been a Vedic astrologer in the field of research for the past 15 years. She's a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Madras Heritage and a part of the Fellowship of Music-Loving Rotarians, with many shows to her credit. Her hobbies are reading, writing, and traveling. Vikram Jindal joined Rotary in 2008 and is currently the president of the Rotary Club of Madras, Midtown. He has held several positions in the club. His passion for swimming, running, and particularly cycling led him to become the chairman of the mega event Kashmir to Kanyakumari cycle rally conducted by the club. He's part of several cycling groups. I won't read out all the acronyms of the several cycling groups he's part of, but winning medals is easy for him, and a 100-kilometer distance is a cakewalk. On the professional side, he runs a dealership called United Steel Distributors of Jindal Brothers that supplies to government bodies, builders, contractors, and architects. And finally, Dr.Sabitha Gauni is currently the president of Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown for the year 2021-2023, and a thoroughbred academician, relentlessly marching ahead in her field. Starting as a lecturer in Thangavelu Engineering College in the year 2003, she soon joined SRM University in 2004 and completed a master's in VLSI Design Technology by 2007, followed by a PhD in wireless communication in 2015. She's been teaching at SRM University for the past 17 years, rising to the post of Associate Prof in the Department of Electronics and Communication. And with all that, she's also a classical dancer, showing keen interest in all art forms. Welcome all chief guests. It's such an honor to have introduced you, and we can hope for a great launch of Sumitha's book. I think Kumar is going to spotlight only them and take all of us out.
Yeah, except for Kamala Selvam, all are on the screen.
Yeah, Kamala Selvam doesn't have a video on. She's online, yeah.
So if you all have your book, the Romance with Press, please hold it up. With the grace of God, I declare the book launched. Congratulations, Sumitra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another feather to your cap, and next time your introduction will be that much longer. So congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, all of you, for being here for me today. Thank you so much. Really overwhelmed.
You're very welcome. We're now going on to the reading of poems by selected people. And The first poem is going to be read by Anju Kishore, and it's titled A Poem. I'm sure she'll give the page of the book as well, but it's on page 13 for those who want to turn to it when she reads it. Anju, the stage is yours.
Everybody, and congratulations, Sumitra.
Thank you, Anju.
And very best wishes.
Thank you, Anju.
It's my pleasure to open the readings today with a special poem. The very first poem from Sumitra's book, Romance with Breath. The title of the poem is A Poem. A poem is never ready. You want to hold it and sleep over it. Read it in the morning, read it after lunch. Every time you look at it, it matures a bit. It's a toy you play with, teasing your mind about what you see, drawing inferences that perplex you and excite you with newfound discoveries. So fascinating is a good poem to the reader and the writer. Thank you. Beautiful poem, Sumitra.
And right now to the listener as well. So it's fascinating to the listener as well. Wonderful rendition, Anju.
Thank you, Jairam.
Paul Mathew, are you in? No, Paul Mathew is not. Geeta Varma.
I'm very much here.
Oh, you're here. Okay, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I didn't see you either all the time.
My audio is
Yeah. So would you like to read your poem? The
sure.
Whispering Teacher. Please tell us which page it is on and we'll...
It's on my Kindle, so I don't know which page.
Okay.
The ever whispering teacher.
It's page 19.
19. Okay. Right. To start with, once again, Sumitra, all the best. Have a wonderful run with this book. And I chose this particular poem because I found a lot of depth in it in terms of even philosophical depth. And I was surprised at the note at the end, which says you have not read any books on, spirituality or anything of the sort. But this is something which is very, very interesting. So that's why I chose this poem. The Ever Whispering Teacher. July 24, 2016. I dance with the breath. Romance with the breath. Breath, my creator, moderator, and terminator. Breath, my constant companion, like the roots to the banyan. Unlike my shadow, which leaves me during darkness, unlike my ego, which shatters me during ignorance, unlike my parents who would leave in the twilight of their lives, unlike my children who will leave their hives, unlike my partner who may be the sweetest, yet may not know all about his dearest. In the midst of their journey or their final recourse, we'll be in search of breath, of course. But my breath is right here with me. My great leveler, isn't she? In times of need, greed, pain, or fear, I love my breath. She's always here. When life is happy, peaceful, or mundane, when I'm angry, depressed, or insane, breath, my best friend, my guru, my teacher, far superior to any preacher, helps to seek knowledge from within and brings out the power built in. Consulting breath leaves me enriched. In hindsight, decisions made are truly cherished. Never challenging the conscience, always a blissful experience. My breath answers my questions, chases my fears, clears my doubts like no saints or seers. To my mind, the prancer, my breath is the answer. We go to a million gurus, mesmerized by their wisdom. Inspired, we return with newfound freedom. Practice for a while, their aura still encompassing, but wears off sooner, like whirlpool aggregating. At such times, look for your breath. Right there in the corner, all earnest that you have pushed it to. Oh, how human to err, waiting for you to beckon her, never leaving your side or showing attitude, nor expecting gratitude. Your unconditional friend imploring you to use her, call her slowly and steadily, hold her. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I am with you, she whispers softly, lifting your spirits innately. Find yourself, your true peaceful self. After all, self-help is the best help. Rejoice in your awakening, but don't get carried away. Pride, they often say, may get in the way. Keep your breath steady and slow. And you still have a long way to go. Salutations, O breath. Your fragrance locked in my wreath. My inseparable companion hovereth till my last.
My, Paul, you outdid yourself. I mean, Paul is the one who's guided us through Macbeth last year. I mean, we staged Macbeth and he was the one who guided us.
Awesome, Paul. Awesome.
Thank you.
Very, very well.
Thank you, Paul. That was so great listening to you. I felt so good. And I was wondering.
The poem was great, Sumitra. The poem was great.
Thank you.
Great
Jairam,
poem, and Paul brought it to life.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Jairam, we have missed one important aspect. We have to allow all our chief guests to say a word, all the 5 chief guests, before we start poetry. So can we finish that and then go to the rest of the poems?
Sure. Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
So may I ask Sumathi Srinivas to speak, say a few words?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's a wonderful session today, launch today. And congratulations, Jairam and Paul, for keeping us so enlightened and effective here. I know I'm on the roads and I'm listening to you all. So I was really, spellbounded at the way this launch is happening. Something very nice, impressive. And congratulations, Sumitra, because Hook Group, you wanted to do a launch in a very effective way, and you have made it as a global joint. And secondly, now Romance with Breath is such a beautiful title. And Paul had now given the feminine version of Breath when he was reading the poem, and I loved it. And self-help is the best help is also what I loved it. And I just got a few pages in Sumitra. One is a grand finale. I don't want to read it in detail, but the grand finale, what you have written there, it's something very, very nice. I love that. And the second thing which I loved in your book, that is most loved, okay, is a homemaker version of how they are treated and how they are being handled. And the other version is one more thing is don't sit silently. You know, all these things, they're impressive titles and even the input of it. And now coming to it, I'm so surprised and proud that you are one of our we writers for a very long time. And today you have, sorry?
I still am, Sumathi ma'am.
Yeah. You still are, yes, a proud writer even now. And we are so happy to have you. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, even in this month issue, she has given her article. And to talk about both ways of Sumitra is that one is that she's a simple human being and, you know, she's more on the job, very dedicated. And we talk less, but I think her work speaks a lot for her. And we have always maintained a very healthy and harmonious friendship. And now for her to start as a writer in V and today to be as an author, it gives us so much of pride. And more than anything else, how she's putting everything together makes it a very strong base for a lot of books authored by her to come in the near future. And this Romance with Breath is a beautiful title, as I told you all before, because Mr. Paul had read it, that breathing is something inevitable and along with us. So I think it's something which we all will have to really look forward to this book and more milestones to Sumitra. And I also would like to congratulate the person who had articled it and also who has edited it, the editor, the publisher, and the whole team which has been in this book to bring it out here. So hearty wishes, Sumitra, and congratulations to you. And we are proud that you are our V writer. And I'm really honored to be here this evening with you all, sharing this with you all. So thank you for really making me a part of you. And also, I'm gratified that you have always mentioned in wherever possible, whatever you have written as in V magazine, putting it across, saying that this was first article in V magazine. Thank you for it, Sumitra, and wish you a great future as an author. Continue to be as a writer as usual and as always. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, all of you all.
Thank you, Sumathi Srinivas. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you so much. Please stay on.
Yeah, I just have a request. Can I leave?
Yeah, you may. Yeah.
Kindly excuse me, the whole team, because I have another thing at 8:30. So
Sure.
I'll just be leaving you all. Thank you once again to everybody. I heard to Mr. Paul and also to Mr. Jairam, I suppose. And thank you so much for having me with you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Would you like to call on Urna Bose to?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so heartiest congratulations to you, Sumitra. This is such a lovely occasion. I'm so happy to be holding this book in my hand. And I'm sending you all my love along with the entire team of Adisakrit Publishing Services, Sumitra Datta, who I also know, and I'm a big fan of her, and Ditika Laya. I think her illustrations are amazing. And to everyone who's come together to help you, and it's always a teamwork. So heartiest congratulations. Also, a very big thank you to Jairam for holding together this session with the glue of your energy and with your charming baritone, Jairam. So a very big thank you. And I'd like to say something. When Sumitra gave me the manuscript, of a book to read, and she told me that this is her first book. And then I read the book, my jaws fell on the floor and my eyes popped out because I couldn't believe that this is her first book. And you can read what I've written for her, but I will still read a little bit, 2 lines out for all of you. Sumitra Kumar is an excavator, armed with both patience and skill. She has patiently sat upon layers and layers of the soil, enriched with the minerals of her own life experiences. Then, with a miner's skill and craftsmanship, She has created poem after poem, extracting them from the glaciations, the tectonic shifts, and the volcanic eruptions of the landmass of her own unique journey. Diamonds, they say, have 4 C's: color, clarity, cut, and carat weight. Sumitra Kumar's debut poetry collection, Romance with Breath, too has 4 C's. What are the 4 C's? Conceived with immense love, conceived with immense love, sensitively constructed, sensitively constructed, constructed is the second C, refreshingly candid, and is destined to leave the reader utterly charmed. Thank you. I'll read my poem later, the one that I will read for you.
Wonderful, Urna. Thank you. That was comprehensive. Shall we ask Kamala Selvam now, Sumitra?
Yes, yes, please. Kamala, are you there?
Yeah. Hi, all. I first apologize for not being able to come on video because the signals are very weak here in my hometown. So, talking about Sumitra Kumar, I knew her through Innerwheel, and when she joined as a member, and I also belong to the same club, Innerwheel Club of Madras Midtown. From the day I met her, she always came across as a very sweet, simple, and very loving friend. No, I mean, like a very gentle-natured person. And when we read her poetry, it's exactly a reflection of what sort of a person she is. Simple things in life, like, for example, as the title goes, Romance with Breath. Things which we will not even think of. She's brought it so beautifully in a poetic format. And it's all beautifully woven together through her life experiences. And everything comes out as a version of herself. Generally, we say poetry is a version of a person's own self. And it's so nice to read all the poems. Like it, at the end of it all, we feel so good about it. And that's what the whole book creates. In any competition or anything that Sumitra participates, we in Midtown always know that she will come out a winner. She either gets the first or the second prize. So it's not only us like who are like happy with her skills, even all over the country, be it an international, national competition or an international competition, we know if we send Sumitra, we have a sure win in that particular category. And most of her poems or her articles which she has written has never failed to touch a chord with people. And all are basically related to day-to-day affairs, sensible things which are practically doable. I particularly liked her no plastics campaign. No, when she feels very strongly about something, she gets down into it. And she created that no plastics campaign where all those plastic bags had to go. She made a small video. She made sure that everyone tries to follow it. So she's a person who actually puts across her views in a very nice way also and makes sure that other people also are influenced, or she changes the mindset of people around her. And that's what her poetry also does. I loved reading all the poems, especially the ones on nature. And I was surprised that even she could write about the waist belt, that we wear during our weddings and all that. I mean, simple things like that we don't even think of. She could make it into a poem, and she brought it out so beautifully. So I'm really, really happy that now at the age of 53, she has launched her first book on poems, which needs a lot of courage. Many women write and they just stack it away. But she didn't think that age was a bar at all. She made sure she published it into a book. And I'm sure this is the beginning of many, many more to come, considering the kind of talented person that Sumitra is. She's good at singing. She's good at writing. So I see a future music album also in the cards, Sumitra. So you should not stop with only writing. So I'm sure you will be a winner in whatever you take up, because any fan, you send her for any competition. Like once she acted as Rekha and she won that also. There was a poetry and a song, I think, related to that. And it was a last minute request made by our past president, Keshav, and she won in that too. So Sumitra is a winner, very, very talented. We are lucky to have her as a part of a club. And more so to be a friend to such a wonderful person, no? Very clean soul, very difficult to find clean and genuine people nowadays. And Sumitra is one such person. I would also like to read out the verse I've written for her, nothing to match what she writes, but just a small 4 lines. If words had wings and they could fly, hers would soar higher and higher till they reach the sky. She touches a chord and often makes you sigh, making you wonder if you can match them, even if you try. Thank you so much, Sumitra, for the opportunity, and best wishes. May this be the beginning of many, many more to come.
Thank you, Kamala. Thank you so much for being here and being so sweet as you are. And my God, you don't prepare for any event and your words just flow beautifully like a river. Thank you so much. Thank you for saying all those beautiful things about me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Lovely, Kamala. Shall we call on Mr. Vikram Jindal?
Yeah, very good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Warm welcome to everyone, and thanks, Sumitra, for inviting me. The best wishes from our Rotary Club of Madras Midtown to you, Sumitra, Mr. Jairam, and Keshav. Just a small gist about what is Rotary Club. I know everybody knows about Rotary Club, but it's very important, just 2 lines. See, the Rotary Club of Madras Midtown is basically a service organization, non-religious, non-political, where it brings together business and professional leaders. It promotes integrity and goodwill, and it was founded in 1972. Now it's the 50th year, the golden year of Rotary Club of Madras Midtown. It's a very special occasion for us. And the motto, what we follow here is service above self. Well, I have been knowing Sumitra for almost a decade by now. And thanks, Sumitra, I had this copy of yours. I got time to flip through the pages. If everyone can come to on the page number 32, which especially I liked it. On page number 32, time to face the bigger picture, March 12, 2020. Corona knows no borders. She obeys nature's orders. In the era of globalization, she finds a global occupation. She knows no nationalities, religions, rich or poor disparities. She will find a host in many humans. It's you or me, or you and me, as specimens, and relish being an uninvited guest. But she is only doing her job, all earnest. Her role to play as equalizer. Well, it goes on and on. So true in today's situation. You see, the cost of living is never expensive. The cost of living style is only expensive. Well, Sumitra, nice that to know that you've taken up these challenges and running the poem is always in your mind. And this being your maiden release, I'm confident the art in you will grow and inspire many readers. Keep writing your poetry. My hearty congratulations to you, to your team, and all the best for all the endeavors you take over. Thank you, Sumitra, for inviting me again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sumathi Srinivas here. Hello? Sumitra?
Hi, Sumathi.
Yeah, I just have a word which I want to tell about Sumitra here. Can I do it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. See, I missed to tell that the proceeds of the book are given for a social cause. So I just want to put a word that we are really impressed by that also, that being her first book, she wants to give all the proceeds of this to the, I think it's to the Rotary Club of Midtown. So congratulations, Sumitra, for that initiative also of yours.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Sumitra, you're on mute, I believe, Sumitra.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Sumathi ma'am, for bringing that out. Yes, it's my first book and I felt it would it's through Rotary and Inner Wheel is where I have gained my writing experience, and then followed by We Magazine. And so I felt that this book should be dedicated to Rotary Club and Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown. I'm so happy that you brought this out. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, Sumitra. I think it has to be brought out by somebody, because the thought is more important than what you do. So actually, you have done a great work in the poem and also putting it to a social cause, giving all your gratification to the Rotary. So I think it definitely needs to be notified.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumitra. As a club president, I acknowledge your donations. Thank you, Sumitra.
Thank you, Vikram.
Can we call on Dr.Sabitha Gauni now to say a few words?
Thank you, Jairam. And congrats, Sumitra. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really honored to be a part of this book launch of Sumitra Kumar's Romance with Breath. We have known Sumitra as a good friend, adorable wife to Rotarian Kumar, loving mom to Vishal and Isha. She's always surprised us with her command over the language and her writing skills. We from Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown have the liberty to put forth her name to any district competition related to writing on any topic under the sun. Definitely, we sit back and wait for the results to see which place she has bagged. Thanks to you, Sumitra, for bringing in accolades to our club through your writing skills. Proof of my statement above is there in the book. People who have read the book by now should be familiar with the words Rotary Club of Madras Midtown and Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown. We would have met many writers who have launched their work through books, but Sumitra is definitely a step ahead, as I take this opportunity to say that this all the amount that from the sales of the book goes towards the Women Empowerment Project at Kalyan Maestri Garden of Rotary Club of Madras Midtown through the Inner Wheel Club of Madras Midtown. So this is a testament of her large-heartedness. Thank you, Sumathi ma'am, for bringing a notification to this. So I can keep on bragging on about our dear Sumitra, on and on about her beauty, her charm, her lovely voice, her writing skills, and above all, I'm really thankful to the Almighty for bringing such noble souls like Sumitra and Kumar into our lives. Always, Kumar and Sumitra remind me of a very strong magnet, as they stay like North Pole and South Pole, but their strong magnetic field around them keeps us all attracted to this attractive couple. Congrats to you, Sumitra and Kumar, for being her backbone in all her achievements. And about the book, definitely everything, any particular poem you can see, or people who know Sumitra very well can feel the depth with which she would have written the poems. The one which I would like to say that is my favorite poem is Go Back Birds on page 57. This is really a touching way to express the feeling of a noble-hearted human. And this shows that her contribution or her feeling towards the environment. And congrats, Sumitra, this is just the first step towards your writing career. Congrats to your future endeavors.
Thank you, Sabitha. Thank you. And just as I thought, you have brought your engineering expertise by referring to magnets. So that's really nice and amazing. Thank you. And really enjoyed having you here, and as a very, very dear friend whom I can always, call and say, hey, Sabitha, please attend or log in into this program, and you will just be there. And even if I don't log into any of your events, you are still there always for me. So I'm so grateful and honored for your presence here today. Thank you.
Our pleasure, Sumitra.
Thank you, Dr. Sabitha. Shall we now recommence our poetry reading? We've had Anju Kishore, we've had Paul, and now it's Geeta Varma's turn to read a poem. It's okay, titled It's Okay. Geeta Varma, stage is yours.
Congratulations, Sumitra.
Thank you.
The book is all about goodness. That's what I felt when I read the entire book. Uh, Before I start reading the poem, I thought I'll read the introduction to it. We often exert pressure on ourselves, getting anxious about our productivity each day, as invariably an ever-growing to-do list haunts everyone. While a morning yoga or exercise routine enriches a person to stay motivated and accomplish tasks, it also teaches over time that it's okay if we fall short. A happy life experienced in just being and knowing oneself through observation as an outsider exemplifies a robust mind tuned to take on the pressures of achieving. I've used "it's okay" as a refrain in the poem. It's okay, June 12th, 2019. It's okay to be unconditionally happy, honest and holistic in thinking, to look forward to the sunrise, every new day with a new thought, admiring the magical plot that created the wondrous creation, or was it no thought, as in meditation? It's okay to see people on the street looking fresh and rested after a good night's sleep. Their mind is in peace with no malice. It is okay to see the birds chirping and singing. One sounds like playing the flute, and another's like the sliding fingers on a piano, an orchestra as if dedicated incredibly to me. It's okay saluting the skies and kissing Mother Earth, part of an enriching yoga routine. It's my church, my mosque, my temple, so open and all embracing. In all thankfulness starts a new day, showing a new way to live and let live. It's okay to work with passion, gliding through the day with small accomplishments that trigger the happy hormones. It's okay until I reach my restful spot at night with deep satisfaction, mentally ticking off things done and patting myself for it. And as for the undone, it's okay. There's perhaps a new day. If not, it's still okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Sumitra. I hope you liked my reading.
Oh, yes, Geeta ji. That was awesome. Thank you for being here and reading this poem today. Geeta ji, she's a great author and poet herself, and she was not sure whether she could attend today's event, but she made it finally, and I'm so glad. And Sri Kumar ji, her author and playwright husband, is the one who gave me the foreword for this book. And I'm so grateful and thankful for this, because he is a person who was, he did not know me at the start. And when I sent my sample work to him through Mr. Keshav, he readily agreed to go through it. And he was, forthcoming with a foreword in 3 days. And I am so honored and, grateful that he was able to go through my book in such a short time and give his valuable feedback. And I'm sad he's not here today, but I totally understand, because he's in the final stages of completing his own, his own final book. So
that's
the last stages.
That's why he's keeping away from trying to finish it, which is taking a long time.
Right. Yeah. So I can understand that, issue, and I best wishes to Mr. Sri Kumar Varma for his upcoming novel. And thank you, Geeta ji, for being here for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
That was a wonderful Geeta Varma ji. Really, really, you have very, very lovely voice and it went off well. The next person I'd like to call on, Vidya Shankar, who is also here with us. It's an honor to have you with us. And would you please read your poem, Vidya?
Thank you, Jairam. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So the poem I've chosen to read is Once on My Balcony. And Sumitra has written it on August 26, 2018. Before I go into reading the poem, congratulations, Sumitra. And congratulations to Sumita as well for Adisakrit. And why this poem resonated with me is because, of course, though I wouldn't run to take a picture, but I do have a balcony and there is a mango tree overlooking the balcony, and I would probably, see similar, I would probably have similar experiences. And I thought this is just, I have to read this. So here I go. Once on my balcony. Once on my balcony, after the last routine of daily yoga, a pretty looking bird on a tree caught the eye. A cute, larger version of a sparrow. The yoga mat I rolled quietly and quickly. Now, feeling like Salim Ali, inside I scuttled to pick up my mobile. In an instant, I returned, but the bird was gone. A little left to the spot, on the same tree was perched a crow, looking majestic and unconquerable. With a sense of equanimity, just after yoga, acquiescing all is beautiful, I aimed my camera to capture the bird. Split second, the crow too flew away with a loud caw that silenced my subtle discrimination, as if saying, "You need to evolve, my child. Better luck next time." Leaving me with thoughts afresh. Everything about true nature is truly beautiful. Conditioning can oftentimes get ugly. Thank you.
Very nice, Vidya.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you. That was amazing. And I like the way you shouted caw. So, I didn't expect that. And that really brought it out so beautifully. Thank you so much. Thank you. Vidya is amazing part of IPC. And I have learned a lot from her. And she, even helps me in making my poems better. The ones that will probably be in my next book. So I'm really happy that Vidya is part of my, life and part of IPC. Thank you so much, Vidya, for being here today.
Wonderful.
I would like to say something about Sangita. She is traveling right now. She's living in the US and she's traveling to India right now and she's somewhere transiting in Amsterdam. I hope she's logged in. She said she will try to log in from Amsterdam. If you're there, Sangita, say hello from there. I don't think she's there. She is such a sweet person that I have, become friends with through IPC, India Poetry Circle. And she is also part of one of our critique meets where, she gives us good advice about how to fine tune our poetry and, how to use words more economically. Her poems are so economical in, with words. And that's something I've learned from Sangita. Thank you, Sangita, for being a part of this event. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here as a part of this book launch. Thank you, Sumitra, for this opportunity to read out a poem from your marvelous debut, Romance with Breath. The poem I had chosen to read is Sumitra's response to the molestation of 8-year-old Asifa Banu from Jammu and Kashmir some time back. What struck me about this poem was the heart-wrenching pain one feels at the incident, and also the inevitable introspection that such an event brings about in the society as a whole. So here's Asifa. You are innocent as a flower, your eyes curious and divine. Your name haunts us. Dainty yet strong, Asifa, seeing your pictures with the gruesome story makes us angry. But at all the same, it makes every woman yearn to have a child just like you, as you remind her of the sweet doll of her childhood. But then she might rethink, as innocence has no value in this big, imperfect world. It doesn't matter where you live, Kashmir, Syria, or the safest land. Little angels such as you deserve a life sweet and sacred. You perhaps hadn't, until the fateful day, seen the disgusting world that is cruel and alarming. Your mother might have thought there was no hurry to tell you, as by the time you grow up, things may change, and you will never know the perversions of people. But then, life is strange. And some people are strange too, grisly monsters who destroy your world of frightful innocence. The evil that struck you like a thunderbolt out of the blue, without a cue, destroyed your dreams and ours of a progressive world. A believer in peace surely must not believe in tit for tat. But then, aren't we compelled to think, if angels like Asifa can't have a childhood, should the men who wronged her have their manhood? Thank you.
That was so well read, Sangita. I just want to put that on record. I know you're not listening, but it'll be there when you see the recorded version of this. And you brought it to life. It's my turn now, so let me read the poem I chose. It's on page 16, and it's titled, It's Just There on My Lap. I want to say, before I read, that congratulations to Sumitra as well. This book is so beautifully done. She's done it with, as usual, with much grace and much panache. So It's Just There on My Lap, September 2017. Trying to be the ideal me, as exotic as I can be. I know not what is I, for it's nothing but a lie. I know not what is me, something I cannot see. I know not what is myself. Do you get that on a store shelf? But I know what is mind, as much as it does not bind. I know what is body, 5 senses does it embody? I know what is ego, yes, that one must always let go. Thereby seeing myself in everyone else and everyone else in myself. What else? That makes me free of hurt. Differences seem to skirt a new me resplendent in the now. There is neither overwhelming love, nor is there overwhelming hate, waiting at the threshold of heaven's gate, arousing a feeling of neutrality and peace, limiting thoughts of the past and future seas. Expansive freedom emanates from peace, sharing and caring, expressed like a gentle breeze, gracefully optimizing earthly performances, tuning in to the right attitude and its nuances. There is no quest for success or that ever eluding happiness. Without asking or hesitation, it is just there on my lap, for the secrets are laid bare. Thank you for allowing me to read this, Sumitra.
Thank you, Jairam. That was wonderful. In your, I always say Jairam's voice is made for poetry voice. So I really enjoyed hearing my poem from you. And I would like to say that finding Jairam is like those serendipities of life. You won't believe that he's my next door neighbor. And we both didn't know that we share the same passion for poetry. I had once asked one of my very distant relative, he's a professor in English. So when my manuscript was ready, I wanted him to read it and give me his opinion. And he said that I'm an old man, so you shouldn't ask for my opinion, ask Jairam's. So I said, who is Jairam? I don't know. So he said, you don't know? He lives in your colony. He lives in your area. And I said, who's that? And then that's when I checked with my husband. I know Jairam. I've heard his name. But then Kumar said, yes, I know Jairam. I'll introduce you to him. And then that's how Kumar called up Jairam. And then he said, come join India Poetry Circle. And I said, Jairam, I don't know if I'm fit enough to join IPC because I'm not, a very well-read person, and I'm not, I don't feel that accomplished to join IPC amongst all the very senior poets who have done English in their college and all those things. So he said, no, nobody is well-read. Come join, and you will find, you will find it really nice and interesting. And he started with, introduced me to these Shakespeare prompts, where we are supposed to write, he pulls out a verse from one of these Shakespeare stories. And he has, we wrote on several Shakespeare stories like Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and Midsummer Night's Dream. And this is something which I never thought, because I've not read Shakespeare in depth in school. Probably we just had Julius Caesar and probably one Tempest in school, and I don't know much about Shakespeare. I said, I can't do these things, but he said, no, you will get the hang of it. And that's how I got introduced to writing on prompts from Shakespeare stories. And thanks, Jairam, for making this a dream come true for me, something, for me to participate in this book called Shakespeare Peregrinations. So I am feeling so honored to be part of this venture. And thank you, Jairam, Vidya, and all IPCians for being part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumitra. That was very nice of you to say all that. Before I let Urna Bose read, I want to redress a little fault of mine. I didn't introduce the readers properly. So may I just take a couple of minutes just to talk about all the readers who read today. Anju Kishore, who read first the poem, is formerly a professional accountant, is a published poet. Her book of poems, And I Stopped to Listen, earned her a glowing review in Kendriya Sahitya Academy's English journal, Indian Literature. She has been the editor of 7 poetry anthologies of the last 3 years. So apologies, Anju, I should have read this out before you read your poem. Paul Mathew, who read his poem so well, read Sumitra's poem so well, is an ex-army officer and an ex-corporate professional, and alongside a theater actor, an actor trainer, and playwright for over 54 years. Count them, 54. He's founder, facilitator of corporate theater, a theater-based experiential learning methodology for corporate leaders and teams. He's published a book of poems, Spirit Lakes, and other poems, which IPC had the honor of launching, An Actor's Journey, early this year. As an offshoot of theater, he's acted in several ad films, short films, and feature films. Some of his poems have been performed on stage. Paul, wonderful. Geeta Varma, I'll quickly read Geeta Varma. Again, I apologize, Geeta ji, for this permission. Geeta Varma is an MA, B.Ed, and PGDTE. Apart from these academic qualifications, her education has been from life, teaching school children, running a magazine, taking creative life classes, writing for major newspapers and magazines, and traveling. She is the author of the poetry book To My Violin, which I have. It's wonderful. She has co-authored another book called Twilight Hours with her author and playwright husband, Sri Kumar Varma, who is well known in the theatre circles. Both books were published by Adisakrit, in other words, published by Sumitra Kumar. Vidya Shankar, again, apologies to you, finds meaning in life through yoga and mandalas, which invigorate her to write poems that win accolades and find their way into the Yearbook of India in English 2020-2021, and other anthologies and e-zines of repute. Featured in a unique coffee table book, 50 inspiring women, boys, and girls should read about, Chennai edition. Vidya Shankar, a writer, editor, teacher, and a book in the Human Library, is the author of The Flautist of Vrindavan, in collaboration with a photographer husband, Shankar Ramakrishna, and The Rise of Yoga Maya, an effort to sensitize her readers about mental health. Sangita Kalarickal, finally, physicist working at Seagate Technology. Her passion, however, is wordsmithing, and her poems and stories have been published in various poetry, haiku, and fiction magazines and anthologies. She lives in Minnesota, her husband, kid, and the several fantasy characters she writes about. Apologies again to all the readers for not having read their intros before they read. But may I now call upon Urna Bose to...
Hello, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So before I read the poem, I'd like to say that thank you once again for making me a part of this gorgeous book launch. And speaking of gorgeousness, Sumitra Datta Shom, this is published so gorgeously that I can't even begin to describe, what a beautiful, gorgeous piece of a baby that you guys have produced together. So please take a bow. And I will be reading a poem called The Waist Belt. It's on page 66. Sumitra wrote this on December 22nd, 2018. I'll tell you why I chose this poem. She takes this idea of things which are precious to us, okay? Things that we think are so precious that we should be hoarding them. She takes this idea and cuts it apart and splits it apart and deconstructs it so beautifully with a certain grace, with a feminine charm. that I just had to, read the entire poem, and I want to read the entire poem for you guys to relish the journey of the poem. And that's why I told her that I'll read my poem right at the end so that I don't keep anyone waiting, in case anyone needs to leave. So without further ado, the waist belt. The waist belt. A waist belt made of gold, customary then in their fold, bought for their princess by parents after a thoughtful process, making savings fine to see their daughter shine. Adorned with it on her wedding, at the altar she smiles, and they too smile, with love and prayer all the while. The event now over, it goes into a locker, for it's too heavy for day-to-day wear, not to mention the chances of losing it. Things precious are at times not meant to be enjoyed. Things precious are at times not meant to be enjoyed, but just kept in the treasury. Hasn't the lure of possessions attracted many, seemingly bringing security with the comforting thought of ownership, even though unused and stored away in a locker? Years went by, the locker was checked periodically, and now it looks tiny, for the waist has grown, and it is time to pass it on to the next princess, a daughter or a daughter-in-law to cherish as an heirloom. But times change, and so do preferences. After much ado and some bravado, the waist belt is exchanged in a reputed jewelry showroom, diluting its worth a tad, for the deal has to be beneficial to the exchanger in particular. The metal to be melted into a solid mass in a nanosecond through a furnace it will pass, for an evaluation of its purity akin to Princess Sita. Drowning the efforts of the artisan, little did he then think of its destruction, while in creative construction, the emotions of the owner too, making a round trip in that split second, manyfold increasing its intrinsic worth. However, now exchanged for diamonds, they make up a beautiful necklace. Hopefully, they live up to their reputation that claims diamonds are forever. Or could this too end up in a locker for another generation, only to be exchanged and satisfy new preferences, diluting further the value of the original resource until sometime in the future, when it becomes nothing but a distant memory that is gradually but surely forgotten. Everything terrestrial, men or material, the ties destined to sever, for nothing lasts forever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Urna. That was amazing. Your reading lifted the poem several notches higher, and I felt it so fresh, as if, I'm listening to this poem for the first time. It was so very beautiful. I enjoyed your reading. And one thing I really love about Urna, the first time I contacted her and asked her if she could give me a blurb, she immediately called me up. She said, before accepting or reading your book, I want to first hear your voice. I want to speak to you first. And so she said, tell me what your book is about. So I explained to her for the first time what my book is about, extempore, on the phone. So I didn't expect that, but I enjoyed doing that. And So that brought more confidence for me. And then she said, I'm not going to give you a blurb in a day or two. Give me a lot of time for this because I'm going to sit and read the entire book. So that again, it really made me feel so good that somebody is going to read my entire book, and somebody like Urna, who is a corporate professional in the advertising field, so busy, and she works on deadlines every single day, and she's always, I think, crisis solving or working on deadlines, and making new campaigns and all those things. And so she said, I need at least 2 weeks. I said, no problem. And then every 3-4 days, I will remind Urna, are you reading my book? Are you reading my book? And she'll say, yes, I'm at it. And I was nagging her so much, but I think she was so sweet and so kind that she used to say, I'm on the job. And then she came out with this beautiful blurb that I couldn't believe that I could get such a beautiful blurb from Urna. And she called me, do you like it? And I said, I just cried because I said, it's too overwhelming. I can't believe somebody appreciating my book like you have put it in words. So thank you, Urna, for that. And even she's really taken her time out from a busy schedule to be here for me today. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here, Urna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I must say it's always a two-way street, I think all of us here are as much enriched by this, and it's as much a pleasure, if not more, as much an honor for all of us, if not more. So thank you for making me read this lovely, lovely book. And every poem shows that you've lived a life and you're pouring out your heart, you're pouring out your life into these poems. So I think the entire poetry community is so honored to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Urna.
Well said. Well said. It is sad, but we have to move on. And the time has come to get a few words from the Adisakrit publisher, Sumitra Kumar. I would just want to say she is an amazing lady, single mother of 2, taking care of her father and publishing books, making the dreams of poets and authors come true. So, Sumitra Kumar, your stage and your time has come for you to say a few words.
And a very convincing Lady Macbeth.
Thank you so much, Urna and Jairam. I am proud to announce that Romance with Breath is Adisakrit's 18th published book in print. Working on every book has been a unique learning experience, and so was Romance with Breath. Sumitra came to me wanting to learn the process of publishing so that next time she can do it on her own if she wanted. That was quite unusual. As requested, I took her along with me through every aspect of publishing Romance with Breath. And along the journey, I learned a lot about processes. Sumitra is a practical industrialist with a thoughtful philosophic heart. Her writings come from a beautiful inner being. Her joy and excitement as the book's ranking rises on Amazon with every sale is infectious. I wish her all the best in her ventures and hope to share more such journeys with her. And thank you so much, Jairam, for referring me and starting this journey.
You're very welcome. You deserve all the good that comes to you and more. So thank you for your little enlightening us that I didn't know that Sumitra came with you to the publishing field as well. She'll soon be a publisher. You're giving her all your secrets. You can be partners together in life. But Sumitra, do you want to add a few words on Sumitra?
Yes. It's been a really, really great experience knowing and working along with Sumitra Datta on this book. She has been extremely, extremely patient. I think I approached her sometime around October or November, and she actually initially planned to release this book in December. So I think around Christmas time. But I said, Sumita, no, I mean, because first she said it might even take 6 months. So I thought, so I had mentally prepared myself for January 15th. And when she said it's ready, but I was not ready mentally. And I said, Sumita, no, let's push it to January. And she was ready for that. And I mean, she offered me so many stages of editing to, I know I'm typically, a Virgo. So I look into too many details. So Sumita was so very patient with everything that I do. And, I would offer some edit. I would, since I had a lot of time and it's my first book, I was in no hurry to publish it just like that. And of course, we had certain issues in the family too, because all of us in the family had COVID, and we were kind of, down the entire month of Jan and Feb. And Sumita patiently waited for me, and that's how we got to launch this book finally in April. And so I have gained a great friend in Sumita, and so much of learnings, knowledge. And I love Adisakrit. See, I would have gone to any other publisher, but I was adamant that I had to do this with Sumita only, because when I saw Geeta Datta's book, To My Violin, I fell in love with the cover, the print, the paper quality, everything about that book was so amazing that I did not want anyone else but Sumita Datta Shoam for my book. And see what she has brought out, and it's so beautiful. I love this cover, and I love the way she has worked on this pink splash of colors. And at first I thought that I wanted my book to have this gender neutrality approach to it, because that's what I believe in. And although I have some poems based on women, but that shouldn't make some men feel that this is only for women. So I said, Sumita, I love this sketch of Laya which she has drawn on this book, and the entire backdrop is being designed by Sumita Datta Shoam, and it's come out so beautifully. And when I told her that pink would not represent, would not accomplish what the gender neutrality that I wish to suggest. And but I love the design. That's when Laya came in, and she said, pink is the new blue. And I couldn't agree with her more. Yes, pink is the new blue. So we shouldn't be assigning colors to gender. So I learned that lesson from Laya actually, and I communicated the same to Sumita, and I said, yes, even Uma Keshav, my very dear friend, she said, first reaction, it's beautiful, Sumitra, she messaged me. And then, so Laya and Uma were the first two people who kind of made me, agree to this. I did love Sumita's design because I told her it's a beautiful splash of pink all over. But this was my only concern. But they put all my, doubts to rest. And that's how this book came about. Thank you, Sumita. And I'm so much pleased, and I'm getting a lot of, appreciation for this cover, especially for the cover. So thank you, Sumita, so much. Thank you.
Yes, all her covers that she brings out are outstanding. Shall we request a few words from the illustrator, the lovely Ditika Laya Kashyap? Is she there?
I'm here.
Wonderful. Do you want to say a few words about your illustrations, which are wonderful, by the way? They're very nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I'm really thankful that I got this opportunity, because it's very new to me, and I've never had to illustrate for a book, and I'm really happy that I got to have publish a book with my mommy as my first kind of opportunity into illustrating a book. And also I got to expand more of my skills and learn a lot more through trial and error. And there's a lot of editing between my mommy and I, and how to draw each kind of art to match each poem. And I thought it was and her poems are very well written. Being completely honest, I'm not truly a fan of poetry, but I really enjoyed her book, and I really enjoyed illustrating for it too. So thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Laya. Yes, Jairam. Thank you, Laya, so much for being part of this poetry book. I enjoyed collaborating with Laya, and I learned, in fact, I came to know so much more about her through this book. And she, she took a lot of time to understand and what I have in mind. And she didn't want to just go about. I said, I would like you to perceive on your own and come out with your sketches or drawings. But she said, no, I want your perspective as well. So she was very honest and very straightforward in her approach, and the way she kind of took her time to make all these drawings one by one, and then she would any revision that I would ask her to do, and she would immediately come back with something more. So I enjoyed this doing this process with you, and I wish you all the best to get many more such opportunities. And thank you for making me the first, lucky person to get your drawings onto my book. She's an expert in digital art. You must go to her Insta page and see what all work she does. She's too good at this age. Thank you so much, Laya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sumitra Mami. Please, if you have another book that you're publishing, you can always rely on me to draw.
I will. Thank you, Laya. Thank you.
The whole of IPC will come to you now. All right, we've come to the stage when Sumitra herself is going to voice her thanks and her whatever she wants to say right now. So it's all up to you now, Sumitra. You've got the stage. And then after that, Keshav is just going to have a free, candid conversation with her, probing her soul and asking her to let out her secrets and how she writes good poetry. So Sumitra, stage is yours.
Thank you, Jairam. Give me pen, paper, and solitude. I can write. Push me in front of a crowd and words fail me. One of the reasons I pushed myself to get into this book launch and get out of my comfort zone. So, but not without thinking, as the day got close, what have I brought myself into, So you all can understand that, but I'm enjoying this day very much thoroughly, and I'm trying to get out of my own inhibitions of meeting and facing people. But if I had to do sufficient justice to the feelings of gratitude, then my thank you speech could get never ending. So I promise to keep it short, and I hope if I miss out any name inadvertently, and I also hope that you will point it out to me so that I make up to you right here. So to make it easier for me, I will go in a chronological order where I would recall my dad's letters to us siblings when we were young. He was often on official tours, and he would write to us often. And when we read his letters, we were very fascinated by it because they were very rich in language, style, and they were quite lengthy as well. And we would read them again and again. That was probably the first spark that led us to, read and write more. And my brothers and sisters, they created an atmosphere. My brother Bhaskar, my sister Vidya, they are voracious readers, and they created an atmosphere for reading at home. But I, being the youngest, I don't think much, even that beautiful atmosphere rubbed on to me much, because I was more of an outdoor person, always playing. And then when I would just come back home, I would see them, discussing about some nice character from some novel or something like that. And I would feel very left out. What is this that they're discussing about? So I think even I should read. And the best book I would pick up is an Amar Chitra Katha or a Chanda Mama. And that's what I have been reading since childhood. So I wouldn't, declare myself to be a great, well-read person, but somehow this love for writing, whatever minimally I had read, this love for writing stayed with me all the time. And I enjoyed writing for my school, the unit tests or essays, writing for school. And I remember as a kid, I had written 1 or 2 poems, but I have not saved them until today. So that was all what was my reading and writing experience. And my mother, she has been so dedicated and loving, and she has she's made sure that we all grew up with great balance and the mental health that we can feel today. I think it's thanks to my mother for being very supportive and unconditional in her loving, caring, and giving. Thank you, my dear mother. And also my husband, he has never got bored. I mean, before I hit publish, the last 5 minutes I will show, I'm going to send this. Do you have anything to add to this? You have anything to say? And he would add his final inputs. And he would never say, I'll read this later. So he will immediately, put his work aside and read it for a few seconds. And he would give me his inputs. I take it or leave it. It's up to me, but I will always take his inputs before I hit publish, and that is something I always love to do, because I don't want to hit publish before asking him. So I thank you for being patient to read my work all the time. And my kids, they are so liberal in their mindset, and I do see myself as liberal too, but I seek to learn from them a lot of new things that even I do not know. Thank you, Vishal and Isha, for I have derived so much philosophy from the next gen philosophy from my kids. Thank you so much. All my teachers in school, they have been very, very nice, and I have learned so much in whether it was in Goa or Bombay. My English teachers were amazing. When we joined Rotary, I found that was the widest gateway where I could explore my reading and writing, because we had these opportunities to write for Rotary bulletins. So whatever opportunities came my way, I grabbed it, and I was willing to contribute articles whenever and wherever. And that's what helped me grow. And that's the reason for my books to be dedicated to the Rotary and Inner Wheel. Of course, with when Kumar was the president in 2015, in he was of Rotary Club of Madras Midtown, along with Keshav and Adeshwar, we brought out the Midtowner Bulletin, which became a 30-page magazine. From a 4-page bulletin or 8-page bulletin, we extended it into a 30-page magazine where we had so many articles. And I would make sure I attended all the events. I would chase the Rotarians and ants to provide articles for this bulletin. But if there is a gap, I would make sure that I had attended all the events. And if there is a gap, I would write those articles myself. And that's how we, month after month, we brought this without fail. And that was really a great experience for me, and to get confidence in writing. And then now, what can I say about We Magazine? We Magazine gave me so much confidence. Like when I had been posting blogs on Facebook and other social media, it drew the attention of We Magazine, and so they approached me asking if you want to write, and I said yes, I want to write. And that's how I could see my articles in print for the first time, and it gave me super confidence that yes, I can write. It gave me that kind of confidence, and that's what culminated into this book, Romance with Breath today. Because of that confidence I gained from We Magazine. Thank you, Sumathi, Srinivas, for this support from you. And all the Kamala Selvam, what do I say about her? She is so cool, collected, and composed all the time that I really feel, how does she do that? I want to emulate her, and she has everything stored in her brain, and she can just retrieve it whenever she wants. And the ease with which she delivers her speech, something which I can only do when I write, but not when I speak. So I want to learn that someday from Kamala Selvam. I hope you will engage me in tuitions. And Vikram Jindal, and he is so friendly, and he is so, when I asked him, would you be my chief guest? In a very formal way, I had sent him a note, and he said that, I'll log in, yaar. What is all this formality? I'll log in. What time is it? I'll log in. This is what he had messaged me. So don't worry about it, and all the best for your show. Thank you, Vikram, for being there. And he's an amazing Rotarian, a cyclist, and winning a lot of these cycling events. Thank you for being here today, Vikram. And Sabitha Gauni, as I already mentioned, she's a friend whom I can really, rely on any time of the day, morning, evening, night, any time of the year. And she's always there for me. And she is so busy, but still she's always there for me. She's a professor in SRM University, and you know how far she travels every day and comes back home every day and handles students, students 20 plus age group students who are very boisterous and not those school going kids where you can handle them easily. So she knows how to handle people. So something I should learn from her. Thank you, Sabitha, for being here today for me. And of course, Shri Kumar Varma and Geeta ji, so grateful that you've been part of my journey. And IPC, all the poets who have read today in IPC, I missed saying about Anju, Kishore, and Paul Mathew, which I'm going to tell you now. Anju Kishore, she was amazing in the Macbeth play that was organized by Jairam and Paul Mathew, and so many people acted, and I enjoyed watching that play. The way she took that role of Macbeth, my God, she was amazing. We can just watch her face throughout, the way she expressed herself. Thank you, Anju, for being here. And she reads poetry so beautifully. I wanted her to read a longer poem, but she said that she will not be able to stay up for a long time. So I agreed finally. And also, I can't leave without saying how Sumita Datta played the role of Lady Macbeth. Too good. The way she brought that mercurial character of Lady Macbeth was just great, amazing. Thank you, Sumita, for making us all feel so overwhelmed by your portrayal. Jairam, again, I told you, it is a great serendipity getting to know Jairam. And all my beta readers of the book, Uma Keshav, she has been such a good friend all through my journey. Even before my manuscript was ready, I told Uma, see, it's going to get ready, and I want you to take a first look at it and tell me if it is worth publishing. She told me first, Sumitra, how many poems do you have? I said, I think around 40. She said, yeah, and I have written a short preamble for each poem. That's fine, Sumitra, but have you categorized them based on any theme? I said, oh, do I need to do that? Then she said, yeah, it would be nice if you could do that. So I spent next 2 weeks categorizing all my poems. I took such a lot of time doing that. But at the end of that process, I loved my book even more. So thank you, Uma, for suggesting that. It's a great suggestion from you. And I think everybody is enjoying my book so much more because of that. Thank you. And Akira Sriram, she is such a good friend. She is already, I think she's logged in today. She's traveling in train. And she said she will log in, but I cannot, get to the next program without thanking her for all her technical support. I can again call her any time of the day, morning, evening, night, and she's always there for me. Thank you, Akila. And Ashrita, beautifully you have danced today. And the minute I wrote Reunion, I remember discussing with Uma that I have Ashrita in mind for this poem. Someday I think she should dance for this poem. And that's what she did today. Despite her fever and cough and cold that she was going through, she took medicines and she did that performance. Thank you so much, Ashrita, that was an amazing performance. The video was a little pixelated, but I think we will send it across later to everybody who wants to see that again, and hope they can have a better, they can enjoy it without those pixelations. Laya, thank you so much. And Sumita, thank you. Rotarian Keshav, I have so much to talk about all the influences I have, had in my writing journey from Rotarian Keshav. We had joined the Speak Well course, which I have mentioned in my acknowledgements, and that's where we learn to speak. Every day we would prepare on a different topic, but I think this is something, speaking on a public platform is something that you need to keep at it continuously. That's when you become better and better at it. So I think I have had a long break after that Speak Well course, but but still, I don't think you lose everything. You still have something left. Thank you, Keshav, for that first course that made me believe that I could do something with my writing. Thank you so much. And yes, and how can I not thank Keshav for introducing me to Smita Tharoor and reaching out to Mr. Shashi Tharoor. And that's how I got this blurb from Shashi Tharoor. He took the time out of his busy schedule to go through my sample copy and write a short note for me. And that was accomplished only by Mr. Keshav's efforts. Thank you so much, Mr. Keshav, for that. And I have also, I would also like to talk about Shashi Tharoor's books. I have read An Era of Darkness and Why I Am a Hindu. They are two great, amazing books. And his latest book, that is Pride, Prejudice and Punditry. I'm eager to get my hands on it and read that book too. Thank you, Mr. Tharoor, for being so supportive in my writing journey. I thank everyone, and I hope I have not left anyone out of this. Thank you so much.
You wanted to speak about Paul.
Oh, yes, Paul. Yes. Thanks, Sumita, for reminding me. Paul Mathew is such a wonderful person. He runs this theater workshop, and he sent us out an introductory video of how he conducts his theater workshop. And my God, I heard it only once because I was busy with inviting people for my book launch. And I'm going to hear it one more time. And it is so liberating to watch through. And it's so insightful. And I think it is something which, whether you're a writer, poet, author, or you're just a 9-to-5 person working somewhere, it's so useful for everyone in their lives to open up and feel that freedom inside you. That introductory lesson, Paul, that you brought to us is so good that it's worth hearing it several times. Thank you so much. And Paul is such a kind-hearted, sweet soul that I think everybody feels the same about Paul. He's such an amazing asset to our India Poetry Circle. And thank you, Paul, for being here for me today and reading one of my most favorite poems in your best style. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for being here.
That must have been cathartic for you, Sumitra. You're holding up all gratitude within. That's good that you let it out. Can we invite Keshav to converse with Sumitra now? Keshav, Mr. Keshav, sir?
Sure, we can, Jairam. You can.
Wonderful. So I'll leave you two on the stage.
Thank you so much, Jairam, for holding the show together with great panache. I've been enjoying every minute. And of course, this is, in many ways, this is Sumitra's literally, Thanksgiving was in itself such an experience, cathartic experience, as we called it. I think even to go back to the book would be another cathartic experience in itself, reliving her experience. And so first thing is, of course, Kumar and Sumitra are a wonderful couple. Something that I think makes for for expression in a sensitive person like Sumitra. You need to have a lovely family that supports everything you do. And to that extent, Sumitra, I'm really happy that you've gone ahead and done what you wanted to do for so many years. Before I start the chat, there's something very interesting that I need to share with you. Sumitra has brought out a lot of what I consider very important as part of the Vedantic school of Indian tradition, right? And I have been a follower, as some of you might know. And the best part is that I knew Sumitra's sister as an ardent follower of Vedantic thought. But I didn't know they were sisters when I met Sumitra. And for many years, I didn't know. I knew both the sisters, but I didn't know they were connected to each other. When I saw the poems, it struck me, Sumitra, that you really are very, very different in the way you think. And of course, it resonates a lot with me, right? So the first question is, you've been a good mother, like Kumar has been a good father, and it's difficult when you have children, two children, like Vishal and Isha, to decide whom you love more, right? So as a poet, I'm going to ask you, which is the poem that you love the most in the book that you wrote? Obviously, a difficult trick question to answer, right? Every one of them is precious, but still there must be something that resonates, in those quiet moments of solitude. Something must come back to you more and more. So, what are those things that those poems that stand out in your mind?
I like the first three poems in my book because they're very, very close to my heart. Because I think all these three poems I wrote probably at the end of a day, probably in the evening when the first one I was coming back home from work. It's just there on my lap, and I wrote it in one go, and it just felt that something. It felt very precious because it just happened in I think 5 minutes, that entire poem, and it was received very well. So that's the reason it's very, very close to my heart, that poem. And it was the first poem published in any book or bullet. It was also published in Rotary Bulletin as well as V Magazine. So it's so very dear to me, that particular poem. And also the second poem, which Paul read so beautifully, Breath, and that's the reason for the title of my book also. And also the third poem, which is Mind, Body and Intellect. Mind, Body and Intellect, the third poem. That's also one of my favorites. All are favorites, but again, I would also refer to Go Green Ambassadors, the book, the poem on plastics. Why it's dear to me? Because this is a poem which, it was not a poem originally, it was actually a skit which I had written for kids living in my colony. And I got to direct these little kids, about 6 or 7 of them, for a Diwali event where we had to, talk about plastics and how we should avoid using it, carry bags, especially plastic carry bags. And it was really fun directing these kids. And for some reason, on one occasion, I just felt I should also make this into a poem, which will be a shorter read for people. And I got this idea that I should, so I used all the dialogues in the skit back into the poem somehow and made it concise, more concise. And that's the reason I love this poem. And of course, as you say, and everybody knows, plastics, avoiding using plastic carry bags is something which I adhere to very, very strictly. Because I feel people are so generous and so kind and compassionate when it comes to donating money for service, for a cause, for charity. I find that in so many people, which I need to, be as large-hearted as them in my own donations. But I feel that somewhere, in spite of that, they are not able to curb the use of plastics in their lives, in spite of that charitable attitude that I've seen in so many people, which I admire. But I've been very observant, and they're not able to curb the use of plastics in their lives. So they just pull out a carry bag so easily. So this one thing, we can do something for the environment without spending a single penny. We can just by remembering to carry our own cloth bags, we can make so much difference.
I can see another book coming, Sumitra.
So I feel that this is the number one charity one person should do, is for the environment first. So that would help indirectly all, the privileged, underprivileged, everybody, the sea animals. It will help everyone in this world. So I feel that's why that poem is very close to my heart.
Actually, you've gone through so many diverse fields of expression. I mean, you talked about Kashmir, you talked about Asifa, which was very touching. You talked about plastics. You talked about the Kuam in some place. You touched the river, right? You touched Sita in the Ramayana. So it just shows how your mind works, right? And so, of course, the first three that you mentioned are deeply spiritual poems, right? To me, they are spiritual.
Yes.
And I think that shows your essential nature is spirituality and oneness, which you want to see in everything that you come in contact with. The second thing is, of course, the thought of charity, which you mentioned, which by donating the proceeds of the book straight away to a cause, it showed that it came through very clearly that you are clearly, wanting a better world and wanting to help people make a better world through your poetry. And the third most important thing is you mentioned children. You said you wrote a play for them. So if you were talking to a youngster now, how would you encourage a young poet, right, to become published or to even get published, even in a magazine, the way you did it? What would you tell them to go about it? How would you tell them to become stronger poets than they think they are? What would be your advice to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe just like as Sri Kumar ji has mentioned in his foreword, I feel there is a poet inside everyone. Anybody can write, they just have to live every moment. And probably whatever that moment is, it can be filled with love, that moment, or it can be filled with sadness. Somebody could be accusing you, insulting you, hurting you. Whatever is that moment, I feel that you must immediately get to your solitary compartment and write it down, pen it down.
Right.
Because at that moment, but if you give it some time, it might get diluted. Your thoughts, your feelings can get diluted, or you might just forget it. So you write it immediately. Those words are the best words. And it's your first draft. So maybe you can just, that itself will work as a beautiful poem, or you can save it up and then look at it again with fresh pair of eyes the next day and improve on it or do whatever you want. But if you don't write it down, at least for a beginner, if you don't write it down immediately, it may not work out easily to write poems.
So you're saying translate your thought into words when you
Yes,
can,
yes,
as fast as you can,
yes,
before you
absolutely. Yes.
lose the.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's what I do sometimes when I'm, middle of my yoga session and I'm getting a nice idea. So I'm afraid that I'll lose this thought by the time I finish my yoga. So I would be repeating that thought in my head again and again.
Yeah.
These are the
And to
things.
hold on to it.
Yeah, yeah. Those two lines I'll repeat. Sumitra, don't forget these. You have to go and write them down. You have to go and write them. This is a nice line that you could think of, but I don't think I'll remember it later on. So I should just write it just verbatim as I thought of it. So
Yeah.
that kind of itch is there, So that's why even when you're cooking in middle of, making a dish, you suddenly remember, then that's easy because you can just, put the gas on low flame and then immediately, open your diary or your iPad and just write it. But in middle of, when you're attending a lecture or you're in some other event, it's not easy for you to write it down. So but when you come home, it's nice to write it down before you go to bed. That's a nice way of doing things and, making
So
sure that's how.
you like to create a kind of a cave of solitude where you can get in and get out when you can,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Without
yes,
disrupting other people and their
yes,
routines and all
yes,
that. You try to
yes,
look mentally to get into a cave where you can
yes,
carry out your. Yeah,
yes,
that's beautiful. In fact, the poem which I liked a lot more than others was, We Are Thieves, right? The one that you talk about where we are stealing from the earth, right? I think there's a poem that says We Are Thieves. And I love that. And I thought that those are the emotions that are difficult to actually express, right? And almost every one of them, I find that you have managed to put, you have a way with the words, and they come out very strongly and simply, right? You're not struggling. It just looks like the flow is just beautiful. So that's something that struck me. So, of course, the other question is, what next? You've done it, okay? Which was the best part of bringing out the book, and which was the toughest part of putting together this? I mean, if you were looking at it as a conception and a delivery, right? Typically, like a mother would have gone, right? Thinking of the book would have been a lot more fun than actually doing it. So, which is the part that you really loved, and which is the part that you will now, look back and think, wow, how did I
yeah,
do that? Which was the toughest
yeah, yeah. When I look back today, they always say that you finished writing a book. That is the most difficult part. Now, the rest of the journey is easy. But I think, I don't know, in hindsight now, I feel writing was the easiest part for me because you are writing spontaneously straight from your heart, and it's totally unadulterated, and nobody's disturbing you, and there's nobody, you don't have to depend on others or anybody for getting your book on to Amazon or something like that. So many factors come into play, you are consulting so many people. Is this okay? And how many pages should my book have? And how many poems
All of
should it
that.
have? Yeah, is it all right to whether the sequence is all? You're having so many doubts. So those things don't come into play when you're writing. So I think that's the most beautiful part, is just simply writing. But then as a writer, you don't want at some point it dawns upon you that maybe you can bring it out to the world. So that little bit of itch is always there, that you want to having taken this effort of writing so many poems, then you want to bring that book out. So how do you do that? Then once the book is out, then you want to spread the word around, because you want to just not because you're not a household name in the world of books and authors. So you feel that I need to spread the word around. Otherwise, my book is just going to, get into some Amazon, it get buried in one corner of Amazon. It's just there in that place. So you need to spread the word around. So that is actually very important. But it takes out, it saps the creativity out of you, this period of, compiling and editing and publishing, because you're completely focused on something else rather than
It
writing.
changes the whole mindset, isn't it? The creative mindset is replaced by the administrative one about, when to get it out and how to get it out and all that.
But then you got to do what you got to do. So you're having made up your mind. So that's where, Sumita was of great support. And so she kind of, helped me with going through this process. And that's how
Which means I want to ask you then, finally, when you saw the book, what was the emotion, apart from feeling overwhelmed by when you actually saw it in shape? What do you think was the the first reaction or response when you saw the
the first reaction is it's incredible, because because something that you never thought you could get your work done, made into a book. There are so many people. When I was blogging, I remember so many names, who kept suggesting you should one day, make your books into your poems into a collection of, make it into a poetry collection, into a book. But I had no idea about what this publishing scene was about. So I had no idea. So I never even gave it a thought, even if I was suggested by some friends and some well-wishers. I never even thought about it. But only after this COVID lockdown, it slowly dawned, when I was just seeing around people were publishing books, and all my friends were encouraging me to publish a book too.
So much
then
creative time.
Yes. So that's when it
I'm
dawned
glad you
upon
did.
me, and yes. That's how it came.
So, in fact, one thing I wanted to mention to you, and I felt a thrill, in spite of knowing what is going on and how you're going about the book and all of that, when I went to Amazon and actually clicked for the book, right? And when I saw the name, Sumitra Kumar, and the cover, oh, wow, it gives you such a high that you're actually buying a book of somebody you know so well, and it's getting downloaded onto your Kindle, and then you're opening it and reading it and saying, wow, I mean, it could have been David Baldacci, but it is Sumitra Kumar, and all on the same shelf, right? You can pick them up from there. That was a great feeling. So I wanted to also tell other people here that if you really want to help Sumitra, even if it is, as a gift that you want to buy the book, or you want to gift it to someone, make sure that they buy it from Amazon and you send them the money, right? Don't buy. I mean, don't just give them a book. Buy it from a shop and give it to them, because only when it goes on Amazon, then the numbers build up, and you can actually write a review on that. And there's a whole lot of things that you can do to make it a better, smarter
Absolutely. Because that's what exactly I did with my book. And, I even requested my chief guests. I was first thinking I wanted to gift my books to all my chief guests and the friends and everybody who are very dear to me. I wanted to gift them a copy. But then I thought of another way where I thought, if they could order it themselves on Amazon, and I could, give
Send them the
give
gift
the,
of the,
give the
yeah,
cost back to
to
them.
reimburse the amount as a gift to them,
Exactly,
then,
exactly. Yeah. So that would help me in a better way. And also, they would receive it directly from Amazon, and it will help in the book discoverability of my book. So that's something which I think everyone should do. All authors should try and do this, because we are not celebrity authors
verified
here.
sale.
We are just ordinary citizens who want to write and express ourselves, and we want to reach out. Then this is, I think, a good way of doing it, and we shouldn't feel shy about doing this. Yes.
This is fantastic. And Sumitra, you've been very inspiring. I know the night is not that young anymore, so there might be people wanting to get off. So my
Yes.
last question would be, like the famous Latin for what next for Sumitra Kumar? What do we expect from her? Right? I'm sure your publisher will look at it with greater interest to hear what you have in mind, because now we know you've already got one book out of the way. So what do you have in mind, and what are you looking forward to as your next creative, pursuit?
Yes.
Is it a
My
poetry book? Is it going to be prose or?
Yeah, I myself have not figured out what is going to be my next, but I have two books in mind. One is my next poetry collection, which I think I've already collected sufficient poems for that. But I don't want to again hurry it up. Just like my first book, I want to take some time, and I want to take a break and focus more on writing for some time, then thinking of publishing for the time being. So probably, I mean, if you had asked me last year the same question, I would have said like probably in June I would be ready with my second book, because it's almost kind of ready. Only I need to do the compiling and again categorizing theme wise, and those things is what is left. But I don't think I want to really be in a hurry now, and I want to explore more and get into different themes probably. And also I'm also almost written about 60-70% in a novel that I'm trying to write, and but I have to make sure that the story is the plot is tight, and all those things. So I need to get my book to beta readers and ask them to really critique it without showing any mercy. I want them to do that kind of critiquing, and then I would like to get it out. So I'm in no hurry. Probably, I probably thought July and December could be the next launch, but I don't think I'm going to do that quickly. So I'll
That's
take my time.
rejection. That's rejection kind of, does it mean anything when somebody says, no, I don't think your book is up to mark? Or even if they don't say anything, does it have a factor in the way you stuck to your writing?
No, actually, I honestly feel that I want people to critique my work. I want them to critique, because even if it is whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, I want them to say it. Even on Amazon reviews, I want them to say this, because I can grow from it. And only then that review is going to be genuine. I don't want some review which is going to say, yes, your book is amazing, great. It might be for some readers, it might be really, they might have enjoyed it, but if they find something which could be bettered, I want them to say it. And if there is, because I don't consider myself the best of writers or the best of authors or anything like that. I have so much to learn and grow from this experience. And if somebody can point out something which I can, correct in my book, I would welcome that. And please,
You have a
everybody who is listening today, please, I
bring them
request your
on kind of
reviews,
attitude,
good, bad,
right?
whatever. Sorry?
Yeah. You have a healthy, bring them on kind of attitude when it comes to other people's opinions.
Yes.
And
It
I
should
think
come
that
across
helps.
as an honest review. That's very important.
Yeah.
And that is, see, later on when you think, you might find a little, you might feel bad when somebody says it's not good. But when you go back to read, you go with a different, and then you perceive your
You
writing
look
in
at
a
it through
different
a
way.
different perspective.
Yeah. And then you come out with something even better actually because of that feedback. So it should really help you actually.
Great, Sumitra. You've been a wonderful, sensitive human being, and you manage a great, team. Really a collaborative initiative in bringing out this book. I'm very proud of the fact that,
Thank you.
8 years on from the time we met in the workshop, you have really brought out a book that stands the test of, excellent. I must congratulate the publisher, the artist, young girl. I think she's related to you as well. She called you mommy. So nice that she, Laya did a great job. Jairam did a terrific job today, and I think Paul is a good friend. So I'm really happy that it was a great family evening. It was almost a celebration, like a pre-wedding kind of all those programs that you have before a wedding. It was like that. It was a thorough celebration of you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much. Thank you. Thank you, Keshav. I feel so honored by the presence of all the people whom I admire so much and respect so much. Thank you, all of you, for being here on this special day for me. And I wish you all a great, year, and year free of COVID, and free of all the scary things that we get to see in this world today. And also great success to all the authors and poets in their writing journey, and hoping to see and participate in their book launches. Thank you, Keshav, for doing this event for me.
I wish you and the publisher great sales in this book. Yeah.
Thank you,
That's the
Jairam,
magic country.
Sangita. Thank you, Kumar. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Great. That was. So I just want to wind up. I've been told that, Sumitra, I just want to say that you keep saying that you're not a good reader, you've not read well. But I've always noticed right from the beginning that you say, I want to learn this from this person, this from this person, I want to learn this from this person. And, you're just absorbing everybody's good vibes. And the fact that, it's so refreshing to know that you want honest, brutally honest feedback, which is very, very rare. I'll tell you that right now. It's very rare for someone to want brutally honest feedback. So on that note, I just want to ask everybody whether they want to say anything, their last thoughts before we close this book launch. Does anybody want to say anything?
That's Dr. Venu from US. Venu, yeah, go ahead.
This is Venu from US. I'm a surgeon. And Sumitra is so dear to me. And I know her right from the birth, all these years. And I never realized such a hidden talent buried deep all this time, like a seed trying to imbibe everything all in life, suddenly sprouting out and the shower with all the flowers and the fruits is really a treat. We are all treated with a great literary feast. I didn't know this much involved in publishing, not only writing, publishing the book, take it to the higher level. So it was a lesson to everybody, and I enjoyed the whole presentation, well put together. Thanks to all the participants. And the level of her intelligence, is shown. And I haven't read her book yet, but the way you presented everything and other people presented, I agree with all the accolade, felicitations, and the admiration exhibited and verbalized by the various your friends. And it is really a treat in the early Saturday morning, and enjoyed it, and see more of it. And congratulations. And behalf of the family members, I used to call her, I don't know whether I have the permission to reveal my pet name for her, Chum Chum.
That's going to be a name from now on in IT.
So I think we should publish one book on that name, I think. All right, thank you very much again. So if anybody else wanted to say something.
Thanks, Venu. Thank you. Thanks. Hi, Terry.
Ma'am, Kunjini, ma'am, you're muted. You're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Which one, mine?
No. Kunjini Gautama.
Yeah, my aunt.
Yes.
My mother's sister. Yeah.
Okay. You're still muted.
Kunjani. Where is she?
Yeah, I am here. Can I hear me?
You're muted.
Please.
Yeah,
go ahead.
she's audible. You're audible. Go on.
Yeah. Sumitra, you remember your dad used to call me when you were a 6 months old baby at Tamram, East Tamram. We were crawling to hall to the kitchen for eating some food. Your dad calling you Padahamani. Now you proved it, publishing a book. I can see that name, Padahamani, the nickname. Childhood name given by your dad.
Okay.
I
Oh,
remember that word.
Yeah, but I remember this word so well, but till date I have not asked for the translation. So may I?
Yeah, I don't know, but he always called Padagu, Padagamani. I remember I was there in the Tambaram at the time.
So proud.
You remember? Yeah. Congratulations, great proud of you.
Thank you,
Kunjani. If your Krishnamurti Tata would have lived today, he would have been great proud of you.
I know that. I know. Thank you.
Yeah. Krishnamurti Tata, Jean.
It's wonderful.
Good luck, all the best.
Thank you.
Sumitra, would your mother like to say a few words? I mean, she's very quiet. Would your mother? No?
Amma, you want to say something?
Muted. You're muted.
Amma?
You need to unmute yourself.
எனக்கு என்ன சொல்றதுனே புரியல ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு
உங்களோட ஆசீர்வாதம் தாங்க உங்க டாட்டருக்கு your blessings.
Thank you.
Here's your blessings.
All right, if there's no one else.
Best wishes, Sumitra.
Thank you.
She's speechless. She's speechless. Yes.
Thank you.
I am very proud of her.
Thank you.
And we are proud that she's part of us as well. So I just want to say one other thing. We always say that there's a great lady behind the great man. There's always a great lady behind the great man. But Kumar has not spoken a single word today. And he supported Sumitra. All I heard. So this time we can say there's a great man behind a great lady. So Kumar, you really are, I mean, a model.
That's the best part. That's the best part, Jairam. We agree to disagree on almost on everything. So I didn't want to. I made it a point not to get into this. Otherwise, this book would have taken another 3 years to get launched.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I think she very euphemistically said that, this is she liked the solitude and writing. Quite literally.
He was hinting for the future, maybe. Kumar, she's giving you a message for future books.
Your silence is a great help.
I think, Kumar, there is a lesson in this. You have to be a great person supporting your wife. Better be like Kumar, keep her mouth shut.
You know one secret, all of you. Kumar used to write, and he had a small chapbook of poems. And he somewhere I have read it. Just before I got married to him, I read that chapbook, but it's gone missing when we moved from house to house. Somewhere it's gone missing, sadly. And we even today
Kumar knows where it is. Sumitra, Kumar knows where it is.
Yeah, that's when
he writes very well. He writes very well, actually.
Kumar, you're going to write it again for us.
So we look forward to a dual launch next time.
I think you have to write it the foreword for the next book.
Hi, Sumitra.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Who's this? This is Sujata here. You had sent me an invite today morning. And
yes.
Thank you for calling
Sujata,
me.
yes.
I was here throughout. It was a great launch. Lovely poems. All the poems that I heard were very good. They were very well read. And thank you for calling me. Wish you a very wide readership and many more books and many more launches.
Thank you, Sujata, for staying up till the end. Thank you so much for being part of this event. Thank you so much.
All right, if I can invite everyone to write a review on Amazon, it'll be wonderful. And again, wish Sumitra all success. And with that, shall we call it a day, Sumitra?
Yes, we shall. Yes.
Sumitra ji, I'll be reading all your poems. It's wonderful.
Hello,
Thank you so
RKG.
much.
Thank you, RKG. RKG is such a fascinating Rotarian. He is really working hard for the cause of environment today, and he's formed a group for environment protection. And environment being close to my heart, he's been calling me to be an active participant, and I hope to do so from next month onwards. I hope to give him more support once this launch is over. I will be really, glad to be part of your program, RKG. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Congratulations, Sumitra.
3 cheers. 3 cheers. 3 cheers.
Thank you, Sukanya.
Wish you the very best. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy you made it. And you deserve all the credit.
Thank you, Sukanya, for being part and supporting me right through and through from the beginning, and by being one of the first persons to buy my book. Thank you, Sukanya. Thank you, Suchi.
Congrats.
Thank you,
Lovely.
Suchi. Thank you.
I really enjoyed the evening. Each one of them spoke so nicely. They read out the poetry. I've yet to buy. I'm surely buy. I'll buy and read the book.
Thank you, Suchi. Yes, amazing poets, and they have read my book.
Yeah, beautiful.
So honored.
Every poem was very nice.
Thank you.
Congrats, Sumitra.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you.
A lovely evening. It's been such a pleasure to be with you, to have known you. And the more you read every time you read the same poem over and over again, you realize how much of depth there is in it. And I can only say you're an incredible person. For that sort of depth and philosophy that you're able to produce, it's just amazing.
That is the right word, Uma. That is the right word, incredible.
She's an incredible.
Yeah, Uma, I also agree with you.
In every way,
she's an incredible person also, very soft. And
very soft, gentle. We should learn from her.
True.
No.
I learn a lot from you guys,
Sumitra is a very rare kind of a person. You can see her, the reflection of her soul on her face. Every time I think of you, I know it's your soul talking.
Thank you. Now, I think I shouldn't let all this get into my head. So, please.
you start trying on cameras.
I know that all. That's why I married her.
Okay.
Congratulations, Sumitra.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah. So I think we'll not hold everybody too long over here. And thank you so much.
I'm falling asleep already.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, Kumar, Sumitra.
Bye.
Yeah.
Kumar, all the best.
Kumar, Sumitra, good night.
Yes. Thanks.
Wonderful.
What happened?
Who's he taken?
Very good.